Discipline is whereby I'm having a craving. I know I should use, but I don't use. I learn to deal with that difficult emotion at that particular time. I know I was using drugs to cope negatively, but I choose not to cope negatively, and I find positive coping mechanism. I hold myself accountable. Leadership for me means leading with integrity, means showing up authentically, means lighting the way for people. That for me is leadership. What do I mean when I talk about emotional sobriety? This is whereby you are able to understand your emotions, you are able to understand how they impact you, and you are able to understand how to navigate and cope through them. Addiction is treatable. Recovery is possible. You matter. You deserve to get well, and you can get well.
You're watching Mind Pursuit podcast, where families get restored, transformed, and healed. 'Cause he never ever lose a battle. He never ever lose a battle. God never ever lose a battle. He never ever lose a battle. You're watching Mind Pursuit podcast, where families get restored, transformed, and healed.
What's up, my people? Welcome to the Mind Pursuit podcast. I hope you have stayed locked and you've been watching our episodes. If you have not, just pause on this one. Go back, and so that you're able to follow the story and also being able to understand more about drugs and substance use. For the ones who have been with me, I am still with Maggie, the drugs and substance use expert or the addiction counselor. So feel free to follow her. Her tags are here. Her IG accounts, all her social media handles are here. Feel free to follow her so that you can learn more beyond the Mind Pursuit podcast. You can learn more about drugs and substance use. And all we want for you is for you to become the best version of yourself. Wow. We continue with this conversation.
We do.
And we want to talk about leadership. Oh, I love talking about leadership.
I know.
We talk about leadership to understand. And one thing I believe leadership is about influence. You can't lead people where you've not been. And that's why we have you here today as the addiction counselor. You have been through, like you've taken clients through addiction, you know, and you have success stories. So this is something that it's not theory alone for you, and not that we are disqualifying theory. You are learned, yeah, and that is why we can hear. You have gems on gems because you have taken time to also go through school and understand the theoretical part of it, and now go through workplace to understand the practical part of it, because you're interacting on a regular basis with people who are struggling or navigating drugs and substance use.
Yes.
Wow. And that is leadership. You have been leading in that, as far as that particular space is concerned. And I'm curious to hear from you. What does leadership mean for you?
Thank you. A very important question.
Yeah.
Leadership for me means leading with integrity, means showing up authentically, means lighting the way for people. That for me is leadership. And while I do that, servantship comes in. So for me, if you ask me, that's the nutshell I'll give leadership. You will find in the integrity, you'll find servantship, you'll find shedding light in it. For me, that is who I describe a leader as.
Oh, wow.
And I think I embody those.
You do. You
Yes.
truly do. And when you talk about servant leadership, I cannot not mention Christ, because he is a good example of servant leadership, because we see him washing the disciples' feet. He was leading by example. He was not a manager to boss people around. He was leading by example. And in the Mind Pursuit podcast, we are all about God all the time, anytime. So of late, we talk about something we call the Jesus Whisper moments. And I would want to hear from you. Of late, what is that one thing that you feel like God has been telling you about?
I'll answer simply.
Yes.
My Jesus Whisper moment
Yes.
has been obedience.
Okay.
Obedience in content creation.
Wow.
I've been told feedback, not once, not twice. Maggie, you need to put content out there. I remember there's a time a friend of mine, and if he watches this, Boniface, has always, he drove all the way to my place.
Wow.
And he asked me, Maggie, you're very good, you're very aggressive in pushing people's goals. You would do great. You depths of pushing. But when it comes to doing your own content, and you're good in sharing ideas, you're good in putting them across, but doing your own thing, you sit and spectate. So I started. It wasn't consistent then. So at the moment, actually, as we speak, I'm doing 28 days of self-love. And that is what obedience has taught me. Even when I don't want to do it, even when it's difficult for me, I am pushing myself. Is it a new area? Yes. Am I learning? Yes. But I'm doing it every day. I'm posting every day a challenge to show yourself love. And it's been amazing 15 days. Today I'll be sharing the 15th day.
Wow.
Yes.
More reason, guys, to follow her. Because we need to love on ourselves. Self-love is part of self-care. So please, let's prioritize ourselves. Wow. So what are some of the leadership or life lessons you've seen people gain through recovery?
A powerful question.
Yeah.
A very powerful question.
Yes.
The reason I call it powerful, it is because most times people are unable to distinguish between the addiction and the person. So when we talk about recovery and we are talking about these great traits that make them good leaders, I'm excited. My body goes like, yes. Someone finally has seen them. And among them, these people become emotionally aware. These people become problem solvers. These people are able to make decisions better. These people are able to show up as themselves 100%. And what more important way of a leader if they are not leading by integrity, if they are not being able to make decisions by themselves, because that's, to me, is leadership in its simplest.
Absolutely.
Yes. So for me, anytime I see them, I'm like, they are leading. Even if they are not leading a crowd, they are leading themselves in their own lives. And to me, that's leadership.
That's leadership. Leadership starts with leading yourself, for sure. Wow. So how do discipline, resilience, and accountability show up in recovery? My powerful word, I love resilience, the ability to bounce back. And that is on its own. It's what recovery is. At one point, drug was taking control. Now I am in control. That's what we call about resilience. Absolutely.
So when we talk about being able to bounce back, accountability, discipline. Discipline is whereby I'm having a craving. I know I should use, but I don't use. I learned to deal with that difficult emotion at that particular time. I know I was using drugs to cope negatively, but I choose not to cope negatively. And I find positive coping mechanism. I hold myself accountable. I tell myself it's been 3 days sober. I know I'm having anger, and anger has been my trigger, but I will not respond by using. I will stay clean. To me, what else?
That's leadership.
What else?
Wow. So, and I like how you've been able to even paint it out into how young adults can be able to apply it in their lives. So how can overcoming personal struggles make someone a better leader or influencer among peers?
Thank you. One thing overcoming hardship does, it helps you become it helps you become a storyteller. And when we're talking about storytelling, we are talking about storytelling with a purpose. You're not just giving stories with no agenda. It's just someone who has recovered. When they come here and they share their story, they will be encouraging someone out there who's been struggling to stop and they've been unable to. Right? That is one way. The other way, they create a situation whereby they are able to show it is possible. 2, 3 actually. confidence. If I overcome one problem, it builds confidence in me that I'm able to do more. And what else in leadership? Because in leadership, we are told you cannot lead without its own set of challenges. So when you're able to navigate those challenges in one way or the other, you are able to. And to young people, I know this may be in leadership, but I've seen it in school, in career. When you're able to overcome this, you build your resilience levels, you build your confidence, and you grow yourself more, because it also makes you aware. Yes.
Wow. So what habits or mindsets support long-term success and stability, not just sobriety?
Thank you. One of the mindsets and stability moments I'd want to share is emotional sobriety. What do I mean when I talk about emotional sobriety? This is whereby you are able to understand your emotions, you are able to understand how they impact you, and you are able to understand how to navigate and cope through them. So one of the habits I always encourage, at the end of the day, you can note down how was your day, and you can highlight what was stressing during the day, what was a highlight for you during the day, what was a low moment, how did you navigate that, how could you have done that better. And that helps you in having a mindset shift, because what does it do? Helps you to become more emotionally sober.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So for me, that is what I'd use.
Oh, wow. So how can young adults inspire their communities after facing or observing serious challenges?
How can they inspire? Among the things they can do what we call storytelling with a purpose. Storytelling is a form of advocacy.
It is.
And when we are doing advocacy, we are advocating, one, to create awareness. We are advocating we are educating people to be aware, to know. So for me, they would inspire other people through that storytelling with a purpose. What am I changing? And it can be in different areas. It doesn't need to be specifically in addiction. It could be in sexual health, it could be in mental health, it could be in addiction, it could be in self-awareness, whatever field that person is. Storytelling with a purpose.
Wow. Oh, wow. I wish people would know how rich our personal stories are.
Very.
And that is what sets us unique.
Yes.
Wow. So storytelling with a
purpose.
Purpose. That one should be put on a t-shirt, by the way.
Yes, it should be.
Wow.
It's a great tagline.
It is. It sure is. What role do coping strategies, emotional health, or spirituality play in recovery and leadership? That's a heavy question.
Yes, it's very important, and I'll want to divide it. Allow me to start with the last part, spirituality.
Yes, spirituality.
And I love dividing spirituality into two areas.
Yes.
And spirituality is a relationship with your higher power. And the reason I use higher power is because there are people who are still navigating to understand their relationship.
Absolutely.
With God of their understanding. Then there's also the other part of spirituality that I call meaning and purpose. Understanding what puts your soul on fire.
What makes you alive.
Yes, what lights you, right? And why is that important? Because there are people who, when navigating life, prayer is important. And that comes with a relation with their higher power. There's also someone else, when they know their purpose, it is easier for them to keep focus. To know that is where I'm headed, that is where I'm going, right? When it comes to emotional health, we talked about emotional stability. And this is whereby Daniel Coleman comes in, because of what we call emotional intelligence. You are able to know how to deal with situations. You are able to know how to give, when to, when to, when not to, how, where, when, right? That is important. So for me, that is what matters most. And it helps people in navigating well in that situation, and even in recovery it plays a very huge role. Yes.
Wow. So if there was one word or one statement you will give to anyone, including the people who are recovering from addiction, what will that be? Maybe you can look at the camera and just highlight
one word that I've been repeating, and I'll repeat again. Addiction is treatable, recovery is possible. You matter. You deserve to get well, and you can get well. Give yourself that chance. Extend yourself that grace. And I know people ask me, Maggie, what do you mean by extending grace?
Yes.
It is the same kindness. You would see a stranger in need of. You see they're struggling and tell them you matter. Tell them take it slow. That is the same that I'd want you to give to yourself. Yes.
Wow. And it's a wrap. I don't know whether you want more insight about drugs and substance use addiction. Feel free to also put on the comment section, do you want Maggie back? Yeah, to come and talk to us about what exactly. You've had her expertise, and not only in drugs and substance use, there are other facets to it. Feel free to put it on the comment section below. Put your questions. Remember to subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will see you on the next one. Adios.